Good afternoon, everybody. It is Sunday, March 29th, 1:36 p.m. Eastern Time. And we are back here sitting in the center of the aisle. Comfortable here. I know. It's okay though. We can be equal opportunity offenders on this in the middle. We can do the right and the left both. Offend them both. We don't want them to get jealous. So here we are back again at Iran. And since the last video, watching some other news outlets, some fake, some not so fake. Really liking the independent media on social media, the real ones who actually do some background checking and reporting on facts and telling the truth. So, for those of you who do not know, Barack Obama, President Obama, had already tried to go to Iran to try and fix this issue that we're having now. So what I figured I'd do is I want to do a comparison for everybody so they can see exactly what Obama did and what exactly Trump is wanting to do for a ceasefire. Now, right up front, I'm just going to say this. Trump has went public many times saying that until it's a complete surrender, he's not going to stop. He's also said that they have to give up all the uranium. Now, it's a huge deal. It's probably the biggest deal. It's probably why we're there to begin with. But having it right now in our hands, we're just not to that point yet. We want to make sure that we have a clear avenue to get to it. That way we're not jeopardizing our troops any more than we possibly have to if it's going to be a ground. And I don't know how else you're going to do it. I mean, you can get the land ready before you get there, but you're going to put boots on the ground to get it out. So with that being said, Obama approached it kind of this way. They're not very far off, minus a couple things that I don't agree with, and I've never agreed with war. You blow somebody up and you got to pay it to fix it. It wouldn't have been blown up if you'd have been doing what you're supposed to. So the Iran deal done by the Obama administration, formerly known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA, which a lot of people hear and they don't even know what it means. That's the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. It was a landmark nuclear agreement finalized in July of 2015, believe it or not. So that was over 11 years ago, almost 11 years ago, between Iran and the P5+1, which is the United States, United Kingdom, France, China, Russia, plus Germany. That's the +1. And the European Union. The primary goal was to constrain Iran's nuclear program to ensure it remained exclusively peaceful in exchange for relief from international sanctions. Now that's off of Wikipedia, so it's going to be real close to this. The key components of the deal was no nuclear restrictions, or I'm sorry, not no nuclear restrictions, nuclear restrictions. Let me say that again, nuclear restrictions. Iran agreed to limit its uranium enrichment to 3.67%. Now, if you look at my other video, I think I went on there and said it's between 3 and 8% or 4 and 6%, something like that. It's not 60% like they have. The agreement was 3.67%, well below the 90% required for a nuclear weapon. And I think it's only 60% that's required. I could be wrong. Centrifuge reduction. Iran reduced its operating centrifuges by 2/3 from nearly 20,000 to 5,060 for 10 years. So in 10 years, it either had to be revisited or they're putting more centrifuges in. Stockpile reduction. Iran reduced its enrichment uranium stockpile by 98%. So let's think about this. 98%. They have enough to make up to 10 nuclear weapons now, they said. And if they reduced it by 98%, which I don't believe they did, that was a lot of uranium they had. That's mainly why we blew up the cake factory this go around. Facility redesign. The Arak heavy water reactor was redesigned to prevent the production of weapons-grade plutonium, with its original core removed and filled with concrete. They love concrete in Iran. Just absolutely love it. I'm going to make a note right now before I forget. So I can show you before and after pictures of Midnight Hammer and what they did after Midnight Hammer with concrete. I got to write a note so I don't forget. So they fixed the reactor, filled it with concrete. Okay, let's go on. Monitoring and inspections. This is where it gets good. The IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, in today's time frame, there's got to be an acronym for everything, was granted unprecedented monitoring and access to Iran's nuclear sites, including 24-hour access to declared facilities and the ability to request inspections of suspicious undeclared sites. That should tell you right there. We already knew they had something going on somewhere else other than this area here. They didn't ever want to submit to inspections. Always had something going on. It wasn't easy to get the inspections done. So that was the monitoring and inspections. So then we're going down to sanctions relief, as they're always asking for more money. I don't know how the Iranians that are there can be so I mean, they don't even have like drinking water or food right now. They're rationing because they're IRGC is keeping them in their homes. If they come out, they're going to get gunned down. So the sanctions relief, upon verification of compliance by the IAEA in January of 2016, Iran gained relief from the UN, EU, and US nuclear-related sanctions, allowing it to recover billions in frozen assets. Billions in frozen assets. Geez, that's a lot of money. And they already get billions from the oil, which is how they have so many ballistic missiles now. So, that was from the White House. The outcome and the status of it: initial compliance. The IAEA verified that Iran was meeting its obligations in the initial years. Just the initial years. U.S. withdrew in 2018. President Donald Trump, in his first term, withdrew the United States from the deal, arguing it did not address Iran's missile program or regional influences and implemented a maximum pressure campaign. Good for you, Trump. Iranians' response. In retaliation, Iran began violating the deal's restrictions, including increasing its uranium enrichment and limiting inspector access. Yeah, pretty much. Keep out. We don't want you to see what we're doing. We're not doing anything wrong. It's only for power. It's not for weapons grade at all. We just put it down a mile on the earth because it's cooler down there. Less interruptions. Has nothing to do with trying to protect them from getting blown up. Termination. Following the collapse of the deal, Iran officially terminated its commitment to the agreement after 10 years on October 18, 2025. That was the Council of Foreign... I don't have my glasses on. I should, but I don't. That was the Council of Foreign Relations who reported that. The agreement, which went into effect on January 20th, 2016, was highly controversial in the U.S. and among its Middle Eastern allies, with critics arguing it was too lenient and would only temporarily delay Iran's nuclear progress, which is absolutely, we see what it did. Supporters maintained it was the best way to prevent a nuclear-armed Iran without war. I do not agree with war. I said that last time, and I'm going to say it again, and I'll continue to say it. I do not agree with war. But there is a reason we do have the world's #1 military, and it is for reasons like this. War is ugly. It's mean. I wish it never had to happen. But our military is the best that there is. Absolutely the best. I trust in them 100%. And they actually have a president right now, in my opinion, that is willing to use them. And I don't see any way in the world that we're going to get rid of these weapons grade containers of nuclear whatever it is that they're doing. The cake plant factory got blown up. That's where they would get the uranium at, or whatever the process was. Israel blew that up, but in retaliation, Iran went back and blew up one of their warehouse districts or something like that. Israel got hit pretty bad last night. Their anti-missile fire is kind of skeptical right now. I don't know if it's there or it's just barely there. I heard some reporting about they asked for some emergency funding, and I'm guessing that maybe to buy more iron domes to put up above them, because they're getting hit, and it seems like they're getting hit more now. Even though they were firing more missiles before, I think more of them are getting through now. They're not firing as many, but last night they got hammered. So they terminated it and didn't want war. So that was Obama's way of doing it. And it didn't say anything about the millions, hundreds of millions of dollars that were sent in an airplane to Iran for entering this deal. Hundreds of millions of dollars in cash. That is just unbelievable. So we basically funded what we're paying to get rid of now. So Iran double or triple dipped on us. We gave them back the sanctions. We gave them money. And look where we're at. For 47 years, I've been doing this. Let's look at what President Trump... Now, I watched Caroline Leavitt's briefing, and she was very, very specific. Don't believe what you read on the internet. If it did not come from the White House and we did not verify it publicly, then you can't believe it. I don't think that all of this is going to be accurate, 100% true, but I think it's going to be close enough for us to get an idea. I did hear President Trump did say that I've negotiated my whole life, and I know they've went bad on their negotiations before. They've lied to us, they've cheated, they steal, but they're not going to do that this time. They're serious about negotiating this time. He said we've destroyed their military. They have nothing left. Well, they got something left because they're still blowing people up. And we got hit in a very important place, I might add. The U.S. did. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to get to that. It's closer to the end of the video here, but stay with me here because this is where it gets good. Now, let's see here. Mr. Trump, based on reports from late March 2026, so that's now, this is just a few days ago that this they negotiated over last weekend. They were negotiating and nobody knew it. For 2 days, I think is what I heard. The U.S. proposed a 15-point plan, reportedly again. That this press secretary said, don't believe what you see, but typically where there's smoke, there's fire. There may not be. Could be wrong. That's why I'm in the center of the aisle. I don't want to say that it's factual, or I'm just going off of what everybody else is saying, and I can honestly see this. It was a 15-point plan given to Iran via Pakistan. So Pakistan's kind of being the mediator, I guess, on these talks. Aimed at ending the ongoing war, largely focused on dismantling Iran's nuclear and missile capabilities. Key points including dismantling nuclear facilities, Natanz, Fordo, and Isfahan. And let me make something clear. There are multiple areas of enrichment, I believe, or farming for what they need. And when I say multiple, I'm saying multiple. Like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of them. And there's two uranium plants, and the rest of them are nuclear plants. So there's Karas, there's Tehran, Fordo, Arak, which is what we're talking about now, Natanz, Isfahan, Bushehr, Red Gashan. There's 3 more that I can't even read my scribbling. I was trying to. It's just crazy at what they have going on there. Now this, they tried to tell us was for residential use, like powering things, or no, not a mile down. Sorry. So here's the key aspects purportedly of this nuclear program, completely dismantling of existing nuclear capabilities and infrastructure. Enrichment, no further uranium enrichment permitted on Iranian territory. Why that would even be in there, I don't know. I'm not a professional, not an expert, but they do have friends. I won't mention any people in colder climates and some the other way. I don't see why that's in there, but we'll say it's going to be a good thing. Like I said before, I'm trusting in him doing this. Stockpile, immediate handover of the existing 60% enriched uranium stockpile to the IAEA. Again, facility closure. Major nuclear sites at Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordo must be dismantled or shut down. Just shut them down. Have them get the stuff out and put another Mop 57. Just blow it up. Get them done. Even though we supposedly already did that and it was obliterated, but it's not. If we're still having to go in there and do this. Transparency, granting the IAEA complete, continuous, and full access to all remaining nuclear sites. Now, here we go. Was that not just what Obama had done? Pretty close. Plus the enrichment, no more than 3.67%. At least it called out an exact amount. Regional activities, ceasing the funding, training, and arming of regional proxies, including Hezbollah, who's given Israel fits right now. The Houthis, who just now entered the fight. And they said, be careful what you do because we could make life hard in the Red Sea. There's another, Straits of Hormuz is not the only place that makes a lot of money or is involved largely in the world's economy. There's another area over there that the Houthis are right next to, and trust me, they're just itching to get back in it. They didn't learn their lesson from last time. Missile program, limiting the range and quantity of Iran's ballistic missile program, which should have been done long ago because we can see where we're at now. Self-defense only, limiting future use of missiles solely to self-defense. Do I need to say more? Isn't going to happen. They already lied about how far they can go. They lied about how many they had. Infrastructure, a focus on ensuring oil and natural gas shipments are not disrupted. I think Iran has a red line in their agreement stating that they want ships to pay them for use of the Straits of Hormuz. Yeah. So the plan was delivered through intermediaries and was designed to halt fighting and begin a potential ceasefire. Iran initially expressed through media that the demands were unrealistic and threatened by the hard line nature of the demands. Oh, ours are hard? Oh, come on. The 15 focus, Trump stated in March 2026, the deal was focused on the no 1, 2, and 3 goals of preventing a nuclear weapon with roughly 15 points total. Key differences, the 2026 plan was viewed as a rehashed 2025 proposal by The Guardian that also targeted the use of financial resources previously restricted. I don't know that there's anything that's going to be done to where you can put something out there for us to be able to trust that Iran's going to follow through with what they say. And if we just say, okay, we're going to trust them, they're just going to go back to doing what they do. And we knew about it last time and did nothing about it. I'm not going to say Trump won't do anything. He hasn't bluffed yet. So I think today, or last night maybe, was the end of the 10-day hold maybe? I can't remember. Anyway, I just don't understand where they're trying to get with this 15-point plan. And he says that they're ready to make a deal this time. He thinks they're going to follow through. So I don't quite know what they're going to do. So it was also reported that one of our planes, they're called the an E3G Sentry, and it's one of our intelligence planes that goes up in the air and tells us what's going on and what's doing what. It's a really, really big deal. We only have 16 of these left, I think, and maybe only so many of them working. There's enough, but they're not replenishing it or renewing the stockpile that we have of these because they want to go to something else called the E7. But this is just absolutely unbelievable what they did to this plane. I mean, they just Iran with one of their missiles did that. Luckily, I haven't heard anything about any casualties. So I hope it stays that way. This is what it looks like before it was blown up. One of them, anyway. This is it, that thing on the top is the radar, and these things really, really suck up the information. They're a huge, huge advantage to us. And then, of course, then there's a few more videos out from Central Command showing what's going on and who's blowing up who, and these are just some of the ones that we've done again as of recent. This is in Israel. Fox News reported that a factory in Israel goes up in flames following an Iranian missile attack on an industrial zone in southern Israel. They blew that place up. I think a couple missiles got through. I don't know if it was one of those Russian missiles they have. I can't remember what they call that, but they're dangerous. And they were firing the scatter the scatter missiles again. Those things are pointless. Why are these people are innocent? They didn't go after you. They didn't do anything. I don't understand why they have to do it. But anyway, I had to get back with you guys. Again, I would really greatly appreciate if you subscribe, like, comment. I want to do this. I want to keep going. I like this. Again, it's the technology. It's not the politics. And I don't agree with war, but I do agree we have the #1 military for a reason. And I agree 100% with what the Trump administration is doing. Now, that could change. That's why I'm in the center of the aisle. I don't know that Iran's going to follow through with this, but I will tell you this. If they don't, and they finally agree to it, I'm sure that Trump's going to hold their feet to the fire somehow, some way. The Straits of Hormuz, as far as I know up to this point, are still, it's still closed down. They give us 10 ships, I think it was 6 or 8, 10, something like that, with oil in it. So I don't, what that was supposed to do, I don't know. But anyway, so this is Brian again with the center of the aisle. And it's the center because I can offend on both sides, left and right. Everybody have a great day.